My name is Laura Rose, and I have worked in the legal field for about 5 years now. What I love most about my job is being able to help other people and to advocate for them. I'm able to guide them in directions that they didn't know were available. I'm able to give them access to resources such as therapy, co-parenting classes, things like that, make the process go a little bit easier. My least favorite part of my job is when the laws don't go in our favor. When I know that a family deserves something that they necessarily won't get. And in order to get those things, you have to have a certain burden of proof. And to most people, the proof is in the pudding, but the law just doesn't see it that way. The law is a very sticky thing. So before I took the classes with PTP, growing up, I always had firearms readily available. My dad had shotguns and every handgun you could think of under the sun. We made a weekend thing out of it quite often. We would shoot skeet. I would go with them in the fields and hunt doves and all kinds of things, but we never really had what I like to call target practice or range practice. So shotguns and AKs were more of what I dealt with. Handguns were very far few in between, with the exception of a revolver. As a single mother of 3 boys, I definitely need to make sure that I, number one, am safe. If I'm not safe, then I am not able to protect my children. So even though I had prior experience with firearms, I definitely did not have the training required to properly and safely handle a firearm, a handgun, any type of firearm. And it's something I always wanted to do, but I was having some family issues with an ex-husband, and Ryan reached out to me because I had made a post on Facebook about domestic violence and being able to protect myself, and how I was scared to death to take steps forward and being able to get the justice I needed for my children. And he reached out to me and basically offered his services and what PTP had to offer. And initially, I kind of dismissed it. I was too scared. I didn't really want to take that step yet. I was just scared to death. And I think it was probably, I don't know, maybe a year later, I posted something similar, and he, instead of privately messaging me, he just put it right out there in the open, and he said, "The offer still stands." So I messaged him and I said, "What offer is that?" He sent me a picture of a screenshot of the dates available, and he said, "Can you be in the Plata tomorrow?" And I was like, shit, guess so. It's either now or never. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and there were instances where my abuser broke into my home, tried to run me off the road. My children were abducted, essentially, from me. I've had 37 different broken bones in my body. I've woken up in places I didn't know where they were, where I was, or where my children were, and I just wasn't able to defend myself or see the situation coming or get out of it, really. So I saw PTPGun's website, in social media for, a year, 2 years prior to me even taking the class, and, Ryan actually reaching out. And what I thought it was and what I got out of it are two completely different things. They both are true, but it's not at all what I thought it was going to be. I thought I was just going to go there, be taught, how to shoot at a target, and call it a day. I had no idea the safety measures and the individual time that they actually take, for you. I think there were 12 or 15 people in our class that day, and my instructor was Reed, and he spent one-on-one time with all of us during all the drills, even before we were given the handgun, he spent very extensive time talking about safety measures and how you can avoid a situation and all the laws that are included in it. And I just was not expecting the first day to be classwork and learning the ins and the outs of a handgun and how to properly use it. So after the first class, it was a 2-day class. After day 1, it gave me my confidence and my security back. And I hadn't touched a handgun other than cleaning it. I didn't have a loaded weapon. We didn't have a belt. We didn't have any of that yet. But knowing the laws and knowing the safety precautions that come with it, and knowing how to protect yourself and how to avoid a situation and how to de-escalate and how to be more situationally aware, just made me feel more comfortable in my own home, regardless of whether I had a gun or not. These classes are not just geared towards you have a handgun on your hip that's loaded and you're badass and you could just go out into the world. It doesn't work that way. So day 2 was, again, very different than what I thought it was going to be. I got there super pumped. I was ready. I couldn't wait to have a loaded handgun on me and shoot a target. I had this mental picture in my head of what I was going to see and how it was going to pan out for me. At the end of the 2-day class, I felt like I was worth it, but I knew that I could protect myself and my children at any cost. In fact, 2 weeks after I took the class, I felt comfortable enough to testify against my children's abuser, which I was not able to do in 2015 because I was not comfortable enough. I was scared to death of him. This time, I was able to walk right in the courthouse with him seeing me, not park in the back, not have escorts. I knew what I had to do and I did it, and it worked out in my favor. I can now say that I am ready in any situation and I can give my all without being scared, without looking over my shoulder. I can be with my children on the soccer field and not look over my shoulder and wonder who's behind me. I can have my full attention focused on my children, and my demeanor and my mental soundness and my comfort zone has actually helped my children. They are doing much better because mommy is doing much better. The gun isn't what gives me the safety and the security. It's my mindset. It's on whether or not I'm willing to care for my own self. And I've realized that I am worth it. When you pull that handgun, you're essentially about to take a life. I mean, that's the thought behind it. Nobody wants to take a life, but if you have to pull your handgun, it's for life-saving measures. Out of all the therapy I've taken, there's nothing like taking this class and being comfortable as an individual by yourself. And that's really what matters.